Good morning, happy Randomathon day 1. So this is going to be the start of my reading vlog for Randomathon, which is my first readathon of the year. Randomathon is one that changes themes every time we do it, and this year's theme is all around books, libraries, writers, bookshops, so all things bookish. I will link the announcement video up in the cards in case you missed it. It is 8 o'clock on Monday morning. I'm getting ready to head out the door to go to work. This is one of the only days that I don't work from home, so it's going to be the worst day of the reading vlog as far as like me talking to you and extra footage and stuff like that, but I wanted to pop in here and say good morning. Today we have a fairly busy shipping work day, and it might not be the best reading day because I also have some stuff to watch with my family. I finally got my sister invested in reality TV, which is really fun. So The Bachelor premieres tonight and she's very excited about it. And also we are watching Traitors, which is our current favorite reality TV show. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think I'm gonna hang out and watch both of those with them because we haven't seen Traitors from last week yet. I may not check in with you this evening because I might get home super late, but good news is that I could do a lot of audiobooks while I work because everything is just stuff I have to do with my hands. So I'm not sure which book I'm gonna start first. I know that I want to start something 10 hours or less, preferably under 9. I do listen at double speed usually. I can usually get close to finishing a book on a Monday because we have such a long work day. You have to stop and start here and there and have lunch and all that kind of stuff. So these are the options. I'm going to listen to the audios and see which narrator I like best because I want to get something that's going to suck me in. We have The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, the first in an adult trilogy where there is a library of the dead. He just came on, so ignore that. We have Lost in a Book. This is a standalone Beauty and the Beast retelling from Jennifer Donnelly, the fiction writer by Julian Cantor. This is about a woman who is a ghostwriter for like a fancy famous actor, and she has to go stay at his luxury resort. I think there's going to be a little bit of romance in here because she talks about how handsome he is, and this is a standalone adult thriller. So lots of options. We'll see what I wind up being in the mood for. I'll try to check in with you once if I can, like on lunch or something. Otherwise, I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow. I just wanted to come in, say happy day 1, and I will talk to you guys very soon. All right, I wanted to show you some of my larger TBR plans. Not everything is over here, but I kind of have been decorating our entertainment center for the readathons. I've really been enjoying that. So here are some of the books that I would like to get to over here. We have my little book club candle going. We're gonna light that. Some daffodils from outside. This is a new board game that I got for playing your bookshelf. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to play it this week, but you basically like build a bookshelf. It kind of looks like Connect 4. But it also has a board, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we'll be able to play this or not. I want to play with one of my friends, and I don't know if she can meet up this week, but it will be in a future video. And then just a few more of my possibilities over here. Hey guys, I am home. It's now 7 o'clock. I was planning on being home later actually, but we decided to wait and watch The Bachelor on Wednesday because my sister and mom are coming over for me to color their hair. I used to be a hairstylist. I still do a lot of my family's hair, so we just watched Traitors. It was fabulous. In case anyone is wondering, I'm a Boston Rob fangirl. Like Boston Rob for life. Survivor, Deal or No Deal Island. I could watch Boston Rob like on friggin' anything, but there's a lot of other fun people on there too. It is basically a show with a bunch of different reality people and a couple of non-reality people. They go to this Scottish castle and they all get assigned to be a faithful or a traitor, and the faithfuls have to find out who the traitors are before they get murdered. And there's a banishment and a murder every day and a competition, and it's got all different kinds of reality people, like people from Survivor, Big Brother, Housewives, RuPaul's Drag Race, The Bachelor. On this season, there's also a Lord and Zac Efron's brother. Fantastic television. So work today was quite busy. We got done at a decent time, but it was kind of one of those do like 1,000 things at once kind of a day. So I was like running around like with a chicken with its head cut off, but to finish my first book, I went with Lost in a Book, Beauty and the Beast by Jennifer Donnelly. And you guys, I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars. What? I have not done a 5-star for 2025 yet. This was so good. This was a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast, more of the Disney movie than it is of the original fairy tale. This is a Disney book. I have read Jennifer Donnelly before and I've always enjoyed her, but this was so good and it was such a unique twist. Basically, this is kind of like the normal Beauty and the Beast tale, but in the beginning, we are learning about love and death, and they have a wager going on what's going to happen between Belle and the Beast, and death wants to win and love wants to win, and they're going to do different things to try to influence her. We get to like the middle portion of what the movie would be, and Belle discovers this magical, mysterious book that she can fall into, and she goes into it, and there's like this enchanting ball with like lots of people because she's been feeling like cooped up and kind of lonely, and she's not sure about the Beast and everything yet, and this is being run basically by death to influence her one way or the other. And there's all these rules about how death can win this bargain. It is so cool. It was so good. It was done so well. It was so charming. Definitely still has those like younger, like Disney vibes, but at the same time, I loved the portion with love and death. It was very magical. It had kind of like a fae element to it almost. I loved all the different magic, loved the stuff with the books. I will say this is less about the romance than it is about like the overall plot and just kind of love in general, like love of people. It wasn't specifically just about like her love for the Beast. It was also about her love for like the characters that she's meeting and stuff like that. So it's not as romance based as the regular Beauty and the Beast story, so just kind of keep that in mind. This was an absolutely fabulous retelling. I'm going to give it 5 stars. It is not like an all-time favorite, like best book in the entire world, but I really don't have any complaints. I just enjoyed it so much the whole way through. The audiobook was phenomenal. I love the narrator. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 stars because it didn't really do anything wrong, and I had such a great time. So keep this one on your radar for Retoldathon, my retelling themed readathon, because this would be absolutely perfect and I loved it. So I'm going to pick my next audiobook with you tomorrow, but for now I think I'm going to go take a bath, kind of chill out for a second, and then I'm going to try to do some physical reading before Jeff gets home because he's not quite home yet. That is the plan, and I will talk to you guys in the morning. By the way, I'm using this one for the book in the title reading challenge. So we have 5 reading challenges we're trying to hit, and this one will work for the first one, which was book in the title. We have 5 physical challenges as well, but we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. Good morning, happy Randomathon day 2. I had a bit of a quick morning today. I had to get up and do some emails and things for work, and then I had to like run over to Target to get some groceries because I was trying to hit their like spend a certain amount and you'll get like a $30 gift card goal. And it ended today at noon. So it was like a whole situation. So I went to Target, that's what you saw earlier, and then I went to Five Below to try and find a couple more bookish goodies to add to the giveaway because I have quite a few, but I like adding just like some little things like writing pens or like actual pens or stickers or magnets, but they really didn't have anything. I did get a couple things that I'll show you a little bit later, but I have some reading updates already. My audiobook for today, as you saw earlier, is going to be The Midnight Library. I'm only like 4 minutes into this because Target is like 5-minute drive from my house. This one is an adult standalone fiction from Matt Haig. I have read, I think, 1 book from Matt Haig, which was The Humans, and it was about like an alien coming to Earth and like discovering what it is to be human. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It may have even made my top 10 for 2023. I did it for Galaxy-a-thon, so I'm excited to read this one from him. So between life and death, there is a library. Up until now, Nora Seed's life has been full of misery and regret. She feels she has let everyone down, including herself, but things are about to change. When she finds herself in the Midnight Library, she has a chance to make things right. The books in the Midnight Library enable Nora to live as if she's done things differently. Each one contains a different life, a possible world in which she has made different choices, changes that played out to an infinite number of ways, affecting everyone she knew as well as many people she's never met. So basically like an alternate timeline style book, but done through books in a library. This is one of the books that made me want to do this theme for Randomathon. I have a couple on my TBR because I have just been putting this one off, even though I feel like I'm really gonna love it. So hopefully we continue this good reading streak. This is a shorter one. It's 9 hours on audio, so about 4.5, 5 hours for me. So we'll see if I can finish it. I should be able to. I am mostly free today. And then last night I physically read and did the audio. I don't want to say tandem because that means like back and forth, but I listened while physically reading Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. So this is a young adult standalone, and it's basically about this girl, Eliza, who is the author of this extremely popular webcomic called Monstrous Sea. And it's all these like monstrous kind of creatures and aliens and different worlds, and it is extremely popular. She has like over 1 million followers. People are very invested and really into her story, but nobody knows who she is. She's under a pen name. She only talks to them under this, like, I think it's Lady Constellation, and nobody knows who she is in real life, and she is in high school. In her regular life, she's like this normal kind of insecure girl, and she wants to kind of combine these two personalities because she feels very confident with all of her webcomic stuff. People write fan fictions about her book, and then there is this boy named Wallace who also has a secret identity as the most popular fan fiction writer for her webcomic, and she finds out that it's him, but he doesn't know that it's her, and they kind of start like hanging out, and there's a little romance blossoming. I'm really loving it. It is definitely YA, very high school vibes. It is so sweet, and the reason I'm doing audio and physically reading is because you get little snippets of her webcomic and her drawings throughout the book. But also one of my favorite narrators does the audio. There's 2 of them, and the audio is so good. So I just listened to them with my headphones while I was like reading the book and looking at the pictures. This very much reminds me of Fangirl. Not in like a copycat way, but it has the similar kind of feeling to it, and I'm falling in love with the webcomic same time that I'm kind of falling in love with Eliza and Her Monsters. It's so incredibly good. I'm just really adoring it. It's just absolutely precious. They kept showing like Jeff the pictures, and I'm loving the little romance that's happening, and yeah, I'm having a really great time with it. I read 100 pages last night, so I got 1/4 of the way through. So far we are doing great. All right, so let's talk about the reading challenges again. So we have 5 reading challenges for the readathon. I don't always do the best with reading challenges. However, I added the readathons to Storygraph, which is a book like tracking app, and they do the reading challenges in a very cool way that makes me want to complete them even more. So if you're not on Storygraph, check it out because it is very cool. You can like mark off as you do each one and add different books to them and recommendations. Very cool. I'm gonna add all the readathons to Storygraph, so they will be in the links to the announcement video and any other like related videos whenever that happens. All right, so we have bookshelf on the cover, book in the title, which is what we did yesterday, recommended book, set in a library, and author is a character. So I think I'm gonna count this one as one of the ones for author as a character, and then midnight for set in a library. We have 5 physical challenges as well. So we have visit a library, make a bookmark, buy a new book, read in a bookstore, and donate a book. So we're gonna hopefully hit all of these as well. So for today, I have quite a few things I need to do around the house, but I got a little bit caught up on videos and regular work so that I could have a little bit of playtime for the readathon. So I'm debating on what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to a bookstore or a coffee shop or a library or something like that. We're gonna do something together, and I'm gonna continue to listen to the Midnight Library, maybe get some of Eliza in as well, possibly a graphic novel a little later. This week is a little bit busy, but not too bad. We are open this weekend. Next week is going to be very busy because I have a friend coming in town, so we'll talk about that when it comes up. But yeah, I think we're going to go do something. I'll take you with me once I can make up my mind about what we're doing, and hopefully get some good reading in today and some good bookish themed content. I also need to take some pictures for the rest of the week because I'm only caught up through tomorrow. So the library bookstore is closed today because they didn't have any volunteers, but we're gonna go for a walk. I am back from my adventures. It is now 5:30 p.m. So I went to a library first because I wanted to do a little library adventure in a library bookstore. And of course, they didn't have a volunteer that day and the bookstore was closed. So no luck there. But my goal is to get in as many like bookstore library trips as possible because there's just so many fun ones near me. So I thought that would be fun visually, plus we can book hunt. Ledge and I did our walk near the library and then we went to the Goodwill bookstore and I did have success. I want to take you to as many of my spots that I can so you can see how I'm finding like all of these books. I don't go to this one very often because they usually price their books at $4 to $6, which is not bad, but I can find things cheaper than that usually other places, but I like to go there occasionally. So I did get 4 books. I'm excited about them. So I got The House Across the Lake from Riley Sager. This one was $6, which was definitely more than I can probably find it for somewhere else. I'm still on the fence on whether or not I like Riley Sager as a thriller author. I figured this one would be good for Hike-a-thon because I think they're like trapped at a lake house or like some kind of survival murder mystery. Then I got The Shadow Cabinet by Maureen Johnson. I hope this is the one that I needed because I have the first 2, I believe, in this series. This is also like a murder mystery ghost story series that I really enjoyed that I read like 2 Octobers ago, and I didn't have this book. Hopefully. That one was 4, and then this one was also 4, and it is The Fairy Bargain of Prospect Hill by Rowena Miller. I got the paperback because this one doesn't come in hardback that I know of. I believe this is an adult book about fairies. It's giving me like Emily Wilde's vibes. I'm hoping to read this for spring. This one will also work for an upcoming randomathon. There's things in here that will work for that, so keep that in mind. Then on the way home, I stopped at 2 Dollar Trees because I used to hunt for books at Dollar Tree all the time. They get a lot of excess books from like Barnes & Noble and Target and things, and they just haven't had anything the last few times that I've gone in, but they have started to recently. Everyone is kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they'll have one book. I've left with big stacks before. It's a whole thing. So I got 3 books. I'm very excited about them too. So I got The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. I don't know a ton about this. I know it's one of Books and Lala's favorites, and we have the opposite of taste usually. However, I read one of Paul Tremblay's other books, and I think it's The House at the Bottom of the Lake. I think that was him. And I really loved the writing. I don't know if I'm gonna love this one. I'm nervous about it. It's a psychological thriller, something to do with the dead and like digging up the dead and folklore, and it's set in the 80s. We're gonna try it. I found Witch Shadow, which is exciting because I just found Blood Witch not too long ago. I need to start this. This is part of the Truth Witch series by Susan Dennard. So now I think I have all of the books, and I think the series is complete. It's a fantasy series with witches that's supposed to be amazing. And then I got Leave the World Behind by Ramon Alam. This again is another favorite from Books and Lala, or she hated it. I don't know. I learned about it over from her. But this is like a survival, like apocalyptic kind of speculative novel that again I thought would be good for like Hike-a-thon. I read a lot of survival books, apocalypse books for that. We got these for $1.25 each. Can't beat that. Then I am almost 4 hours into the Midnight Library, so I'm a little under halfway. I was hoping to get further, but I had a phone call with a friend and then I listened to a podcast today, but I'm enjoying this. Thoughts so far. It definitely is a sadder, more thought-provoking book because of the element of her jumping back and trying out different lives is so interesting. She meets up with this character that's kind of guiding her through this journey as well. Because Matt Haig's writing style is so good, I don't mind that this is a little bit of a sadder read. I don't know that it's going to end sad. It's definitely like thoughtful and you're thinking of just about like life in general and following this character. She is going through depression and she no longer wants to live. And so basically she goes into this in-between world where she gets to try out different lives and see like how she feels about that and what has changed and what her choices have changed in that life. There's a lot of talk of like depression and death and grief, which is not always my favorite. I'm okay with it, but it is kind of bringing down my mood just a bit. It's not like overall like a depressing read, but there is a lot of those topics, like she has anxiety and I just don't like to read about those kinds of things. I'm a little bit of an anxious person too. I am liking it though because of the writing style and that interesting aspect of her trying the different lives. It's reminding me a little bit of The Husbands that I just recently read in January, although that one is very like much more lighthearted and funny. I really like it when they have to like try out different lives and see what is different in their lives. So I'm hoping to get another chunk of this done. I don't think I'm going to finish it today like I wanted, but I want to jump into Eliza this evening at some point and get a little bit of that done. Overall, still a successful day. Kind of have to go with the flow. I'm gonna make some dinner. I'm gonna see what Jeff wants to do, but I might make some bookmarks this evening as well for the giveaway because I need to do that. So talk to you soon. Hey guys, happy Randomathon day 3. It is actually 2 p.m. on Wednesday. I originally had plans later today at 3 o'clock, so I was gonna stay here and just do like all of my house tasks and work and things like that before I had to go, but they wound up getting canceled. So then I was like, let's go to a coffee shop and like sit and read and do all this stuff. But I decided to stay here and do some baking and cleaning and get caught up on things. I just scheduled 2 videos for the upcoming weeks, so I won't have to do a whole lot of editing in the next few days, and hopefully we can get some good reading done. I haven't read anything today. I was somewhat unproductive. I listened to a podcast today, but I only have an hour and a half left of the Midnight Library. So we're finishing this and we're starting something new. I wanted to read you a quote. This is not really going to spoil anything, but as she's like going through her different lives, she's learning different things about herself, which I just love Matt Haig's writing style. Like normally I don't like books that deal with heavier topics, but his books have like a hopefulness to them. It's just really unique. So this one life that she's in has to do with nature, so I'll just leave it at that. But this might be a little bit of a spoiler, so if you don't want any spoilers at all, like I don't feel like it's a plot twist or anything, but in this particular life she is doing something very specific. So if you don't want any kind of knowledge about it, I will put a little spoiler tag for when I'm done reading the quote. But this is just such a meaningful quote, and I don't normally point out things like this. So spoilers starting now. She's basically doing this glacier studying expedition. I can't remember exactly where they are. In most lives, she would have been at least physically comfortable. And yet she was feeling something new here, or something old that she had long buried. The glacial landscape reminded her that she was first and foremost a human being living on a planet. Almost everything she had done in her life, she realized, almost everything she had bought, worked for, and consumed had taken her further away from understanding that she and all humans were really just one of 9 million species. And Nora felt in that moment, although she had only been left alone for an hour at this point, she is like outside keeping watch for polar bears to warn her team. So she's just like outside in the cold. Although she had only been left alone for an hour at this point, she had never experienced this level of solitude before amid such unpopulated nature. She had thought in her nocturnal and suicidal hours that solitude was the problem, but that was because it hadn't been true solitude. The lonely mind in a busy city yearns for connection because it thinks human-to-human connection is the point of everything. But amid pure nature, solitude took a different character. It became in itself a kind of connection, a connection between herself and the world, and between her and herself. I just needed to hear that in my life because I'm getting like emotional. Connecting with nature and just being a human being is just so important. There's just something that happens to my soul when you're like just outside looking at like a mountain or a river or a lake, or even just like when I'm gardening and like being with the plants. Like we are part of nature, nature is part of us, but also being completely in solitude is not the same as being alone. Being at peace and like listening to your inner being and finding a way to do that is the opposite of feeling alone, because you feel connected and you have an understanding better of the world and yourself. When you're feeling alone, you're kind of wanting something, and most of the time you're wanting a connection with yourself and basically a confidence. And I know what it's like to feel both things. I know what it's like to have a very strong connection and confidence. I have lost a little bit of that over the last few years, and we are working on getting it back. But sometimes like with social media and our wild thoughts and staying inside too much, not taking care of our bodies, we get wrapped up in all of these like thoughts and stories that aren't even true. So I just thought that was really special, and we're definitely gonna go take a big walk later. It will be in the town, so I won't be in complete solitude, and I'll be listening to my audiobook. I personally have found that being in nature, and I think this applies to everyone, even those of you that don't think that you need the nature, you need the nature. It connects us to who we are. So I wasn't expecting to get emotional while talking about that, but I just thought that was really beautiful. It's something I needed to hear today. So, that being said, I am gonna finish this while I clean my house, Then we're gonna go on a walk later. I think we might go find a couple little free libraries, physically read. I'm making some sourdough bagels and do all that kind of fun stuff. So that is the plan for today. Happy Randomathon day 4. It is Thursday at noon. I have done the majority of what I needed to do today. So yesterday I went and took Ledge on a long walk, and we actually used the Little Free Library app, which I just learned about. I didn't know that there was an app for Little Free Libraries. Apparently you have to pay to register yourself to be on the app, so not all Little Free Libraries are on there, but there are so many around me. So I took Ledge for a walk and we like hit the directions and went to find one that I hadn't been to before that was like about a 35-minute walk, and we found one. So that was really fun. Usually the Little Free Libraries like right near me that I can walk to are not that great. My neighborhood is not the most enthusiastic about them, or they're more geared towards like kids books and things. But I did find one book that was really interesting. So I found Angela Carter's book of fairy tales. This is so beautiful. I was really hoping this was gonna be like a fiction book like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies or things like that, like a fiction tale, but this is actually a collection of fairy tales by Angela Carter. Very old school. I really like the contents of it. So it says brave, bold, and willful fairy tales, and then clever women, resourceful girls, and desperate stratagems, unhappy families, witches, up to something, black arts and dirty tricks. So it's very neat. It's got like a very vintage feel to it. Black and white illustrations. I just really love this cover. I was hoping for a fiction book, but I like this as well, so that's kind of neat. And then I dropped off 3 books. I always try, if I take a book, to drop off at least 2, since I'm able to find books very easily from the libraries and stuff, and I'm constantly like unhauling things. I try to leave like 2 to 3 if I take a book from the Little Free Library, and sometimes I just drop off when I'm not even taking anything. So while I did that, I finished the Midnight Library. You guys, this was 5 stars. Like, what is happening? I don't think I've ever started a readathon with a 5-star, and I definitely have never done 2 in a row. I loved this. I originally, when I had heard about it, thought that it was going to be something that I would love, but then there were some other reviews coming in and people have kind of mixed feelings about it, which is totally understandable because of the heavy subject matter. That kind of made me feel like it would be too dark for me, but I just love Matt Haig's writing style. It is so centered around life and love and relationships, and it has such a hopeful tone about it, even though it deals a lot with depression and suicide. Not all of his books do, but it just has such a love for life in the books. And I know that he has struggled with mental health as well. It was just such a wonderful read, even though our main character was just struggling so much. The narrator for this was incredible, so I do think that that kind of upped it a little bit as well. She was just so good and captivating and like really captured the story. I absolutely love this. I thought it was just so good. It just really touched my heart. There were like 3 or 4 different quotes that I wanted to write down, so I need to go and make sure I write those down. I haven't done that in literal years. Like, I haven't written down quotes before. Yeah, I just found this to be exactly what I needed it to be, and it spoke to my heart. But just know going in, it deals with suicide and depression and a little heavier topics like that as well. So not going to be for everybody. I don't normally like books that deal with those heavy topics, but he does it in a way that I'm able to consume it without feeling too dark and heavy myself, if that makes sense. So then I finished that like halfway through my walk. So I started a short novella that I only have half an hour left. I started Elemental P, which I first heard about from Books and Lala, which is one of my favorite YouTubers over here, and it sounded like something that I would love. So I'm gonna read you the synopsis because it's a little hard to explain. So Elemental P is a girl living happily on the fictional island of Nollop off the coast of South Carolina. Nollop was named after Nevin Nollop, author of the immortal Panagram. Quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now Ella finds herself acting to save her friends, family, and fellow citizens from the encroaching totalitarianism of the island's council, which has banned the use of certain letters of the alphabet, as they fall from a memorial statue of Nevin Nollop. As the letters progressively drop from the statue, they also disappear from the novel. The result is both a hilarious and moving story of one girl's fight for freedom of expression, as well as a linguistic tour de force sure to delight word lovers everywhere. So they're living in like this fictional world, and they worship this author of this panagram, and the words are falling off of his statue, and as the letters fall, the society bans the use of those letters, and the townsfolk are writing each other letters back and forth, freaking out about this and like trying to figure out what to do. So it has kind of like a dystopian vibe. It is just extremely unique and very good. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I only have half an hour left, so I will be able to start something else. When I got home from my walk, I finished making the bagels that I had started. We had homemade sourdough whole wheat bagels with eggs and bacon for dinner, which was really fun. I've only made bagels twice. Those didn't turn out quite as good as my first round, but they were still like really good, and I had one for breakfast again. So I might make them again this week, because I feel like if they had risen a little bit more, they would be even better. Not hard, but they're a lot of work because you gotta like boil them for 30 seconds before you bake them. It's a whole thing, but it's really fun because I'm trying to, like always, make things more gut healthy and more easy to digest. Sourdough is such a good way to do that. It's actually a recipe that I created for an ebook for work. So today I'm getting ready to leave. I'm supposed to meet with my mom and my sister to look at a wedding venue because my sister's getting married this year, and they want me to go see the venue that they're pretty sure they're picking and like help them figure out like how they're going to decorate it and stuff. I don't think it will take too long. It's about 30 minutes away, so I'll be able to listen on the way there. And then before that, there is a library I haven't been to in a while that we're going to go to over there, and I got to go to the chiropractor, so we might go to the library over by my chiropractor, and that is going to be pretty much the plans for this evening. I'll let you guys know when I start another book, and I'm hoping when I get home I can read some more of Eliza as well, because I haven't read that for a couple days. So that is the plan for today, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Happy Randomathon Day 5. It is 9 a.m. on Friday morning. I'm getting ready to head out the door today. Today we are heading over to my parents' house. I'm gonna color my mom's hair today, and we have some reality TV fun to watch while we do some work like on the computer, and I can do some stuff with my hands, putting things in bags and stuff like that. To get caught up on Traders, we are watching Deal or No Deal Island, and we're gonna watch The Bachelor as well. All of the things like loaded up at once. But I have reading updates for now. So yesterday after I finished Elemental P, I started Sorcery of Thorns. This is a buddy read that I am doing with a friend of mine, and I want to get caught up to where she is. She started on Monday because she's physically reading it. It's going to take her a little longer to get into it than me. And so I wanted to get caught up to where she is, maybe a little bit past her, and then I can start something else and kind of let her get caught back up. All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known this as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of the Ostomir's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery. Magical magical grimoires that whisper on the shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. Then an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, and Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime. She is torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. It is so freaking good. Like, I read Margaret Rogerson's Enchantment of Ravens last year for the first time, and I think it made my top 10. It was like one of my favorite books of the year. Her writing is so magical and fun. Her characters are so charming and lovable, and her male characters are very like snarky and humorous and sarcastic. I'm really enjoying this so far. So I got about 25% into it. It's a big one. We're buddy reading this on Storygraph, and what's really cool about Storygraph is when you set up a buddy read, which is different than the reading challenges like I'm doing for the readathons, you can add little comments along the way if you have like a thought about something, and then put the percentage that you are at, and it will lock that comment. So like my friend Claire was putting little comments for me along the way while she was reading it, and I could read them as I put in the percentage that I was reading. So if she left a comment at 5%, I couldn't read it until I hit 5%. So it was really like such a neat way. It was almost like annotating a book for a friend, but digitally. By far my favorite way to buddy read so far. We'll be doing a lot more in the future, but I am loving this. This has the potential to be a 5-star, which would be crazy. I think I've reached 2 5 stars in a readathon before, but that is the most. I don't think I've ever gotten 3. I'll have to look back and see, but that would be really fun. Then last night in bed, I listened and physically read Eliza and Her Monsters. I have about 30 minutes left on the audio, about 60 pages. You guys, this had the potential to be a 5-star. It is so good. I'm reading it so fast. I just love her writing. It definitely has that like younger YA contemporary high school vibe, which I don't always love YA contemporary, but because we have this element of her webcomic and the fandoms, and there's just so much talk about online friendships and the internet and its influence on our lives. Like it just, it's so good. But there was a twist that happens, which I saw coming, but the reactions that certain characters had to the twist, I am not loving. Like there is one scene in here that I so want to spoil you guys on because I am pretty mad. I'm like mad because one of the characters that I really love says something to our main character that is like not okay and messed up, and I don't think the author meant it to come off that way, which is even more bothersome. Like I don't think our main character is not upset about it in the way that she should be. So it's a little toxic, to be honest. And I'm feeling like this is gonna go whoosh, like downhill really fast. I'm scared. If anybody's read this, they can send me a message because I'm very sad. I still would recommend this, but just know that this has like a lot of heavy topics in it with mental health, suicide, anxiety, because Eliza uses like her webcomic and things as a way to deal with like her mental health, but she kind of ignores her family. And honestly, yes, we can have grace for people struggling with mental health issues, but she is very rude to her family and her parents are a little overly strict, but they're doing their best. And yes, she's a teenager and they have crazy emotions, but she is extremely self-absorbed. It could bother some people. She's kind of unlikable, to be honest, in some ways. Yeah, this has such high ratings on Goodreads, and I can see why, because the writing is so, I don't know, it's just really fun and sucks you in. I am absolutely obsessed with the side story that we're getting of her webcomic, which is Monstrous Sea. Just little pages here and there. Apparently the author has that story like already written out in a book, but there just has to be enough interest to get it published. We need it because it's so good and it has a totally different tone than this book. I've read one other book from this author that I also enjoyed. I think I did it last October. And then I have 1 or 2 other ones from her. So I'm excited to read more. I think that my rating is going to go down in like the next 30 minutes or so. I might wait and finish this when I get home later so that I can react with you guys, because I have a feeling that I'm going to have a lot of feelings about it one way or the other. I'm nervous, but so far the readathon is going great. So I'm going to get caught up where my friend is in this today, and then I'm going to start something else. I'm coloring my mom's hair and we're watching TV, so I don't know when I'm going to have a lot of reading time until later today, but I should have a decent amount of reading time tomorrow. So far the readathon is going pretty good. I'll be 4 books down once I finish Eliza later today, which is a little more than what I was planning. My main goal was to do 10, but my unrealistic goal was to do like closer to 14, just because I like to finish a book a day. But I have some bigger books picked out, so we'll see what happens. Next week is a lot busier than this week, so I'm not sure. I did last night. We went and looked at the wedding venue. It was really cool. I went to a library I hadn't been to in a while. I did get some books. I'll show them to you later. We are going to go, before I head to my mom's, we're going to go to the library near her and check out what books they have, because I haven't been there in a while. So we're doing a good job hitting like libraries and little free libraries during the readathon, which is kind of what I wanted. So that is all for now. I will talk to you guys later. I'm home. I'm a little disheveled from a day of working and reality TV fun. That was very fun. Really great episodes. If you're not watching Traitors, you gotta do it. It's so fun. So I'm making dinner, but I'm gonna sit down and finish this before Jeff and I like watch TV or anything, because I've only got like half an hour on audio, 60 pages. Very nervous about it. I have a feeling my rating is just gonna go like this. And I'm sad, but I'll let you know. I did stop at the library bookstore. I will show you the books I got yesterday and today, tomorrow, when I have a little more time. I also started Long Live Evil as my next big audiobook. So this one was not originally on my radar for the readathon, but I forgot it's about a woman that jumps into a book. Basically, she's dying, and on her deathbed, she gets the opportunity to jump into her and her sister's favorite book series. She has like a task to complete in order to cure her illness. So I do want to warn people, there is cancer in this in the beginning. I don't want to say they gloss over it, but it's a very minimal part of the story so far, because she immediately jumps into the story to start her quest. So it is very fun so far. I've read like 1 or 2 things from Sarah Reese Brennan that I've really enjoyed. I believe this is considered adult fantasy. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I'm trying to read like at least one of my special editions a month. I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy it. It seems very, very fun. Basically, she is going to lean towards wanting to be a villain to get what she wants, because she thinks that being good does not get you where you want to go, because she's wound up in not so good of a place. Loose description. Yeah, I haven't really heard anybody else giving this reviews or reading it, even though I think this was the adult Fairy Loot pick for like October, something like that. So I will let you guys know how it goes. I'm very, very sleepy today, but we're gonna go make some dinner, read Eliza, and then if I have dramatic things to say, I'll check back in with you one more time. If not, I will see you. Okay, just kidding. I just stepped outside to put something in my recycling, and I got a surprise because I'm in this local girls group that started out being like about hunting for Disney merch and Halloween stuff and Christmas decor and like helping each other find things, and it has slowly turned into a little bit of a book group. We do most of our talking online, but we do a exchange a few times a year, and this is my Valentine's exchange. I have to make mine this weekend because it's due by next weekend for my person. It's like a secret Santa. It's supposed to have at least 1 book and then Valentine's themed stuff in it. So I'm gonna do my best to show you. It feels extremely heavy. How funny. She got me Villainous, which is a Disney board game, and I actually do not have this one. So that is really fun and kind of funny considering I'm reading a villain book right now. That is very cool. I've never gotten a board game before. We do have like a wish list. I have mostly books on mine. I may have had this on there, but I don't know that I did. M&M candy. She like added a ton of stuff. I'm wondering who got me because it seems like they might know me a little bit better. Mickey towels, which I always love. Little lotion. Ooh, a eucalyptus bath bomb. Smells great. Bath & Body Works bigger lotion. Oh, a really cute Disney mug. I actually have not seen this one. It has Minnie Mouse on it. And this is like a nice quality one. And then it is filled with delightful smelling candy. A bunch of Dove chocolate. but it smells like strawberry themed, and I was really wanting some chocolate today, so perfect. And then the book. Yay! That is so exciting. This is Ocean Hard by Allie Aldridge. She's actually like an Instagram friend of mine that I was planning on buying this book for Mermaid Marathon, but she picked this one for me. She's an indie author. It's a mermaid book, and I'm very excited to check this out. Yay! How fun. Well, that was fun. Okay, now to go read. Good morning. Happy Randomathon Day 6. It is Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and I am rageful. I only have 25 minutes left, I think, of this. I had 40 minutes when I last checked in, and I am so mad about things that are happening and frustrated. Oh, I do not like what's going down in here. Ugh, I don't know. I can't say much without spoiling it, but this rating is just like plummeting and I'm so upset about it. We're gonna finish this today, but Jeff is going to take me to a couple of libraries, possibly a bookstore. We're gonna go on a walk and we're gonna go get some lunch. We're gonna do some book hunting and things. So I wanted to show you my haul that I found over the last few days. I found quite a few books, so we're gonna go through these pretty quickly. Most of these were between $1 and $3 like normal. A couple of them were like 50 cents. So I got Gingerbread by Helen Oyemi. I think this is an adult standalone. I know it has to do with gingerbread. It has kind of holiday vibes, I'm not entirely sure. We have Vault of Dreams and Keeper of Ages. This is part of a trilogy. I think this has something to do with dreams and sleep. It's sci-fi. It sounds really good. I think I have the first one already. It's called the Birthmarked Trilogy. So excited to read these. I got Gamora and Nebula, Sisters in Arms by Mackenzie Lee. So this is about the sisters from Guardians of the Galaxy, which I did not know was a thing. Always love a superhero book. Calling Eon again. This is the first book in a dragon duology that is supposed to be amazing. I cannot find this one in hardback. I have Iona already. I'm hoping to do some kind of dragon video sometime soon. I got Scarlet. I think this is a Robin Hood retelling, so we always need those. Tentacle and Wing by Sarah Porter, who I have mixed feelings about, but this is a middle grade book about monsters. I think there might be some mermaids in here because we've got like a mermaid tale, and I've been wanting to check this one out for a while. This is the next library one. I told you I was going to get a lot. Clariel by Garth Nix. I thought I had this one already, but I grabbed a copy for a friend just in case. This is part of the Sabriel series that I have not started. I've heard it's absolutely incredible, but I didn't have it, so that's awesome. All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. This is about a bunch of villains, and it has to do with magic, possibly magicians. Again, another YA duology. Shadow Scale, which is the second book in the Seraphina duology, which is another one I want to read very soon. Again, dragons. And then I got 3 books that are readathon appropriate. This one I'm going to use for the giveaway. This is Harriet Wolf's 7 Book of Wonders. I don't have a ton of books for the giveaway, so I'm going to use this one. And this one is about Harriet Wolf, and she is an author. Years after her death, as her family comes together one last time, the mystery of Harriet's life hangs in the balance. Does the truth lie in the rumored final book of the series that made Harriet a world-famous writer, or will her final confession be lost forever? So, it's about an author. We have The Palace of Glass by Django Wexler. This is part of the Forbidden Library series. This is book 3. This is the next library one that I need to clean up. I have the first one. I'm debating on reading it for the readathon. This is part of a middle grade series. And then one I hadn't heard of called Linny's Book of Everything by Karen Fox Lee. Again, this is middle grade. Looks like some kids that are struggling with things in their lives is kind of escape into some books. So maybe a little bit more of a harder hitting middle grade, but looks super cute. Okay, so we're already like undoing my big unhaul that I did, but that's okay. Some of these will be put in different sections for different official hauls coming your way soon. Hopefully we have some good luck today finding some fun things. I got a couple things for giveaways in the future and stuff like that too, and for friends. And we're gonna go hunting and do a bunch of things. I'm gonna finish Eliza probably in the car. I'm gonna bring a book to physically read, and then when I get home we'll do some more audiobooking. So that is the plan. Hey guys, happy Retold-a-thon day 7 and the final day of week 1. So I didn't get a chance to check in yesterday, but we had a really good time going to a couple regular bookstores, a library bookstore, hunting for some little free libraries, having lunch, walking, and then we just completely zombied out when we got home. We got so exhausted because the allergies are like extra bad right now. We just kind of chilled and didn't really do a whole lot the rest of the day. But I'm here now. I have reading updates. I finished Eliza and Her Monsters. There were 2 things in particular that I felt were so irksome about this book. Didn't fully ruin it, but it almost did. I don't even know what to do with it at this point. I feel like I should recommend this book, but warn you to just not focus on the love story because I am so mad at the love interest. And I personally don't feel like this is a spoiler because you're not supposed to be mad at him from the writing perspective, but I am. It's just so irksome. And then our main character was also over the top selfish, and I know she's a teenager and there was some realistic stuff happening. I just really didn't love it. I loved the overall ending and the solution to things was pretty good. This is going to be a 3-star for me. I feel bad giving it like a 2 because I loved so much of it throughout the whole thing. And I hate when a book makes you want to just plummet your rating. So I think we're just going to settle with a 3-star, and I'll just be very particular with where and who I recommend this to because it was giving me kind of fangirl vibes, which is one of my favorite books of all time, but it's definitely like a lot more harder hitting and then not as kind of cozy. Like there's harder topics in fangirl too, but it still feels like a light read. This one was just kind of a mess towards the end, but I would love to read Monster C, the comic that she's writing in the book, and I'm glad I finally read it because I've had this on my shelf for a very long time. Another irksome read. I read the book Tour, which is a graphic novel on the car ride. I wanted to get at least one graphic novel in this week. Also kind of hated it. I was getting anxiety reading it because this poor man, like this book is about a author that is going on a book tour. He's in England. He's going on this book tour, doing these different book signings at these different bookshops and staying in different hotels. He has a wife and kid at home. He just has one of those cases where things just keep going wrong. Like he'll get there and it'll be too rainy and no one will come, or they won't know that he's coming, or they won't have his books, and one disaster happens after the other, and then his life starts to kind of resemble what he had written the book about, which is a little bit of like a murder plot. And I was getting more and more anxiety because this poor man was just having these horrible things happen to him, and he was just letting them kind of happen and being like, I don't know what's going on. And it just kept getting worse and worse, and then it just ended. And I really don't even know what the ending was. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to pick up on something, but I'm not entirely sure how it ended, and I just need to know what's going on with this poor man because it ended so bad. It was very, very British and it was supposed to be like humorous and silly, and it was, but it was irksome. Not the one for me. Honestly, I'm giving it a 2-star. Even though I really liked the art style and I liked the beginning, it just kept going downhill. I felt like the main character. The more stuff that happened to him, the more I was like annoyed with it. So my ratings for the readathon are not doing the best. Then today I started Olivetti by Ali Millington because I have 2 big fantasies going and I wanted to finish one more book before the readathon ended so that I would have 5 for the week minus the graphic novel. And this was only a 2.5-hour audio. I knew we were going to be home today, and this one is about like a kind of sentient, self-aware typewriter. It's a middle grade story, and that's really all I knew going in. This was charming in some ways. I really liked the parts with the typewriter. The The audio was phenomenal. It had 2 narrators. Loved them. They really brought the story to life. But the side plot that's going on with this family, there's 3 kids and there's a mom and a dad, and the mom goes missing and the family's trying to find her. I just didn't love. There is a situation in here that a lot of people won't like, so I'm not going to spoil it here. I just didn't love the actual like plot of what's going on with the family and the mom. And then it was just like very quick, and the ending was kind of strange, like what happened at the end. And I think it was supposed to like really kind of pull at my heartstrings, and it just didn't. I loved the typewriter, and I did have feelings about the typewriter. I just don't feel like this fully clicked together. Like it was simultaneously not enough about the typewriter and then too much about the typewriter. I don't know. For me personally, it just didn't work. The writing was really, really good. I think I'm gonna give it a 3 for that. Maybe, no, you know what? I'm gonna do like a 2.75 because I didn't hate it. I don't feel like I will recommend this one very much. So, and I was hoping that there would be some author situations in here, but there wasn't. It was just the typewriter, so maybe not the best pick for the readathon, but I've heard amazing things. I have really wanted to read it, and I think a lot of people will really love it. To me, it just felt like it didn't fully like click together. All right, so this is the point where the readathon seems a little chaotic, but trust me, I understand what's going on. So I'm still working on these slowly. This one I'm trying to kind of keep up with my friends, so I'm just doing little bits at a time. And I've only gotten like half an hour more into this, so I don't have a lot of other thoughts just yet, but I'm enjoying both of them. I'm loving this. I'm not very far into this yet, so I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. This is what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the weekend. I may do a graphic novel. I may start another physical book. I am not sure. But right now, I just did a bunch of meal prepping and cleaning for the day because we were feeling like a little bit chaotic, and I have an extremely busy week next week. Mostly fun stuff, but that also means that I won't have a lot of time for the not fun stuff, which can kind of stack up quickly. So I've got laundry going, I'm doing my meal prepping, and I'm gonna go for a walk around our neighborhood. I need to get probably an hour of walking in. I'm trying to hit a certain number of miles like every week this year just to kind of build up because I haven't been walking quite as much and hiking. And we're gonna go and try and find a couple more little free libraries. The ones that are close to me are not always the greatest, but we'll see. We'll bring a couple books to drop off. And then I did get some books at the library bookstore, and we went to Book Off, which is one of my favorite used bookstores. I took some of my unhaul books there and I got some, but since I've been chatting a little bit, I will show you those either a little later today or tomorrow. That's my update for now. Let's go find some little free library. We are well into the next week. I realized I never filmed an outro for you. We've got a lot going on, a lot happening. I had a really good weekend. We did some book hunting, we did some book listening and all of that stuff. I will kind of catch you up on everything that I'm reading in the next reading vlog, so stay tuned for part 2. This is everything that I finished for the readathon so far. We did 6 in total, which is pretty good. And overall, we had a pretty good week 1. We'll have a little bit of a hectic week 2, but we're gonna do our best to get a lot of fun books in. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit me up with some book emojis down below in the comments if you made it this far. I so appreciate any of you that enjoy watching the reading vlogs. They're my favorite thing to create, even though they're like the least watched things on my channel. I love doing the themes and going different places and just kind of theming the whole video. So if you enjoy this kind of video, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.